Imagine a forest so vast it spans 8 countries, a place that covers a mind-boggling 5.5 million square kilometers. People call it the greatest show on Earth. And honestly, they're not wrong. So in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and dive deep into the secrets of this absolutely incredible ecosystem.
And let's just start with one number that puts everything into perspective: 10%. Over 10% of all known species on the entire planet call this one forest home. I mean, just think about that. It's a concentration of life that's almost hard to wrap your head around. And yeah, among that incredible diversity are some of the world's most amazing animals. Case in point, the jaguar. This is the biggest, most powerful cat in the Americas. It's got a bite so strong it can literally crush a skull. It moves like a ghost through the jungle, a perfect symbol of the Amazon's raw, untamed power. To really get a sense of how important the Amazon is, you have to think big, like really big. The whole area is about the size of the lower 48 states in the US. And every single day, its billions of trees are pumping out a whopping 1/5 of the world's oxygen. So it's not just some forest, it's quite literally the lungs of our planet, helping to regulate the very air we all breathe. So you have to wonder, right? How in the world do millions of different species all live together in one place without chaos? Well, the secret is in the architecture. It's best to think of the rainforest as this gigantic apartment building, with different critters and communities thriving on each and every floor. And this image shows that apartment building perfectly. You've got the super dark forest floor, then the understory, then the crazy busy canopy, and way up at the top, the emergent layer. By creating all these different homes at different heights, the forest cuts down on competition and just lets life absolutely explode. Let's start at the bottom, on the ground floor. Down here, it's like living in twilight all the time. Less than 2% of the sunlight that hits the top of the trees ever makes it down here. This is the world of decay and recycling, where fungi and insects work 24/7, breaking everything down and feeding the forest from the ground up. Okay, moving up one level, we're in the understory. This layer is full of shrubs and smaller trees, so it's still pretty dark and humid, a total maze of leaves. And you know who loves that? Ambush predators, like our friend the jaguar, who uses all that dense cover to stalk its prey completely unseen. Now we're climbing up into the main event, the canopy. This is the bustling city center of the rainforest. It's this huge, interconnected world of leaves and branches, and this is where the action is. Get this, somewhere between 50 and maybe even 90% of all life in the rainforest lives right here. And a classic resident of this high-rise city is the howler monkey. Not only is it perfectly built for life in the trees, it's also the loudest land animal on Earth. I mean, its roar can travel for miles through the leaves. It's a sound that totally defines what the canopy sounds like. And finally, we've reached the top, the penthouse suite. This is the emergent layer, made up of the crowns of the absolute tallest trees, some of them soaring 70 meters into the sky. Life up here is totally different. It's hot, it's windy, it's exposed. This is some exclusive real estate, only for the strongest flyers and the toughest climbers. Up here is where you'll find magnificent birds like the harpy eagle, powerful macaws, and these brilliant, strong flyers like the blue morpho butterfly. They're just soaring above the roof of the world, patrolling the sunny kingdom high above the shadows of the forest floor. Okay, so we've seen the forest's grand design. Now let's zoom way in to one of the most amazing and, let's be honest, bizarre partnerships out there. It's a story about a sloth, a moth, and a weird weekly ritual that shows you just how connected everything is in this place. So here's the big question. Why on earth does the three-toed sloth risk its life climbing all the way down to the forest floor once a week just to go to the bathroom? It's super dangerous. Well, the answer is this incredible, perfect cycle. Let's walk through it. The sloth comes down, and moths that live in its fur lay their eggs in its droppings. The new moths hatch and fly up to find a new sloth home. Then when those moths die, their bodies fertilize algae that grows in the sloth's fur. And here's the kicker. The sloth then eats that algae. It's like a nutrient-packed snack. It risks its life just to maintain its own personal, mobile garden. How cool is that? But you know, for all its delicate beauty, the Amazon is also a place that can be seriously dangerous. The same forces of evolution that create these perfect partnerships also create some of the deadliest animals on the planet. In the water, you've got the heavyweight champion of the world, the green anaconda. This is the biggest snake on Earth by sheer weight. It doesn't need venom, nope. It uses pure, brute force. It constricts its prey, and its prey can be anything from deer and capybaras to, yes, even a jaguar every now and then. But hey, big danger also comes in very small packages. On one side, you have the beautiful golden poison dart frog. It's so toxic that the poison on its skin is enough to kill 10 grown adults. And on the other side, the super aggressive Brazilian wandering spider, whose bite is not only intensely painful, but can also be deadly. Two very good reasons to watch your step. Okay, now we have to pull our focus way back out to the big picture, because the single greatest danger in the Amazon isn't an animal. The entire ecosystem, this amazing cradle of life we've been exploring, is facing a massive threat from us. I mean, just look at these numbers. They're absolutely shocking, and they speak for themselves. This is how much untouched primary forest was lost in just 1 decade. Brazil alone lost nearly 13 million hectares. To give you some perspective, that's an area bigger than the entire country of Greece. Just gone. And scientists are screaming from the rooftops about this. This quote really gets to the terrifying heart of it all. We are getting dangerously close to a tipping point. The theory is, once we lose about 20 to 25% of the forest, and we're already at about 17%, the whole system could break. It might not be able to make its own rain anymore, which could trigger a massive dieback, turning huge parts of the rainforest into a dry savanna. So what's causing all this destruction? Well, the number one culprit is clearing land for cattle ranches. That's more than 60% of it in Brazil. But it's also a toxic mix of huge soy farms, illegal logging and mining, new roads that slice the forest open, and of course, climate change, which is leading to more and more devastating droughts and the fires. But here's the thing. Even as it's being threatened, the Amazon is still a place of profound mystery. What we know about it is incredible, but what we don't know, that might be even more amazing. Let's talk about the secrets the forest is still keeping. You know, for centuries, explorers were drawn in by the legend of El Dorado, a lost city of gold. And while that might just be a myth, researchers today are using new tech, like lasers from airplanes, to find evidence of massive, ancient cities hidden right under the trees. And beyond that, there are still hundreds of indigenous tribes living there in total isolation, cultures that have had no contact with our world for generations. And all of that brings us to our final, really critical question. We know for a fact that there are millions of species of insects, plants, maybe even larger animals that science has never seen. We know there's ancient history and entire human cultures hidden in there. So the question we have to leave you with is this: what monumental secrets, what new medicines, what undiscovered creatures, what knowledge of our own past will be lost forever, burned and bulldozed, before we even get a chance to find them?